Greetings, fam and friends. How are you? But I want to call to order the fam today. So, shout out first of all to the friend that sent this to me. They watch my girl Vicky Dillard, and she's always doing this. So I have a very dear friend that saw me pounding something because I was very passionate about a topic, and I was pounding the DVD that I borrowed from them, by the way. And they were like, no, not my DVD. So they saw Vicky Dillard with one of these and thought that I could make good use of it. And I kind of like this since I know what it means and how it's used. And so as a matriarch from the community, I'm calling to order the fam today, right? So, old saying, some people don't believe that the fire's hot until they get burned by it. Or, hold on. What about this one? Some people don't believe it stinks until they get you rub their nose in it, right? But even then, do you really learn? Does everybody learn from experience? I say no. And that brings me to my topic today. I want to talk about this trend in the market that's going on. I'm a real estate agent, have been for over 15 years. I'm also a home staging and styling consultant and specialist. And I'm watching the market. I love what I do as a real estate agent, a realtor. I love my clients. But this market, which is a good market, let me say, for buyers, because the interest rates are at an all-time low, and they have been for quite some time. That's a beautiful thing. However, I'm noticing that there are multiple offers, and we're not talking about one or two. There are houses where they're experiencing anywhere of 10, 18, 12 offers on one house. And in order to get that winning bid, you guessed it, you have to drive the price up. You have to be the best and highest bidder. You have to present your best and highest offer. And that may mean well over the asking price. What does this sound like? Does this remind you of anything? Reminds me of 2007 or 2008 when the real estate bubble went out. You had so many people that were bidding on houses. It was bidding wars out there. And in order for a buyer to get the house, what he or she had to do, or the fam, what they had to do, was offer well above the asking price. And what happened was, down the road, you found a lot of people that were upside down. They paid more for the house than it was worth. And guess what? They already started off in the negative. They were already in negative equity. And so back then, they blamed the lenders. They blamed the realtors. And I'm going to say it. I blamed everybody. I blame the appraiser. I blame the realtors, the lenders. I also blame, well, you guys don't want to hear it, but the buyers. You sometimes want to keep up with the Joneses, but the Joneses got problems too. Everything that you think is grass is not grass. The grass isn't always green. It might just be asphalt. So during that era, I encourage my buyers, stay within your budget. I know the lender says, this is your max, right? And you can go all the way up to this amount. But you and your significant other, or you by yourself, or you and your parent, whoever's collaborating to purchase that home, you need to sit down and say, where would we like to be as a price point, as a mortgage, right? How much are we willing to pay realistically? And what is our cutoff, right? This reminds me of auctions. I've gone to the auction. I've seen some people get some fabulous deals at an auction. And then there's those auctions where you see people bidding, and they bid, to the guy right there. Can we get another? Up to the lady in the back. And then they keep bidding. Ego gets involved, and guess what? The price is far above. They pay for it far above what the property is worth. Why? Because ego got involved, right? So I just want to encourage you, buyers that are looking right now, don't succumb to what's going on in the marketplace. Let's say, for instance, you are qualified for $350,000. Maybe that's your max. Do you really have to have the house at the $350,000? Can you start looking around $300,000 and find something that fits your needs as far as location, space, room size, amenities at a lower price point? And then if you have to offer above and beyond that, you're still well within your budget. But the thing is, you still want to be mindful, because everything works for balance. And so there's an offset. If something gets out of balance, way out of balance somewhere, something is going to seek to correct that. And it's like you have the same force that pulls it way out here, it shoots back on the opposite side with that same force. So if the thing is way out balance here, the correction is going to be really extreme. So if the offset is extreme, the correction is extreme. So just like in nature, the universe, and even in our body, it works to keep and maintain balance. So like, for instance, I don't know, my nails, I need to try doing them myself and they're a little ugly, but whenever my nails break, on one hand, this hand may still have nails. I kid you not. And I don't know if you ladies have experienced it. Whether it's me working around the house or doing whatever, somehow the nail on this hand, look at this, is going to break off somewhere around the same place on the opposite hand. Case in point, remember that time when we were all wearing those asymmetrical styles, ladies and men, for some of the men? How many of you experienced the longer side breaking up to the length of the shorter side? As the shorter side was growing, this one coming down, this one might have been going up. Some of you may have been able to maintain it, but why? Because the body is always seeking to have balance, right? And that's how it is with the economy. There's the highs, and then there's the lows. There's recession, and there's inflation. Everything, there's the ebb and tides. So everything is cyclical, but it all, in being cyclical, is working to come back to that balance, that neutral place, right? And so that's how it has to be in this market. So I just want to encourage you, while all of this is going out there, be mindful. Be mindful. Know where your cutoff is. And you don't have to max out just because the paper says so. Sit down and put the pen to the paper, and whatever that figure is that you come up with, stick to it, and you'll find it. So some of it may be you might have to look a little extra harder, and sometimes you may have to go through a few offers, but you will find it. But I just want to say, be mindful. And for those of you, so the way the market is now, people are foregoing inspections. They are paying anywhere from 10, 20, 30, 40,000 over. And get this, they're also paying the overage in cash. They're paying it in cash. And so buyers are also having to compete with investors. So in this industry, if you have FHA has its own set of guidelines. Conventional is a little bit more lenient. If you have cash to buy, cash is always king. But the thing is, why investors are buying up, and you can't blame them. But at the same time, even your investors, I want you to think wisely. You're paying for this. Maybe you have it like that, but down the road, are you going to be upside down because you paid so much over what it was worth? So I'm glad to see that inventory is starting to increase again. I'm excited about that. It may not be quite where it was before the pandemic, but inventory is starting to increase in the marketplace. So some buyers are a little bit discouraged, and some have actually extended their lease. They've gone back to rent another year because they had a hard time finding something. If you're out there and you've been having some challenges with finding something, I want to say, hold on. The rates are great. It is a great time to buy. Sorry, my little lamp here has a short in it. It is a absolutely great time to buy. But You may have to, and they might have suggest, there is life after a mortgage payment. Don't max out just for the sake of maxing out. For instance, that house, maybe it may not have everything that you want. You can add that extra bath, or maybe it has the bath and it wasn't, it was average. Can you spice it up? Can you add some beautiful tile? The kitchen was not quite your dream kitchen, but you fell in love with these backsplashes. Can you add that later down the road? Or do you just have to have what you want right now? Do you need it right now? Or can you add that later? Stay within your budget and you look at the comps. You definitely want to look at the comps to see this is what they're worth. Ask your realtor to pull a comparative market analysis. When you're putting an offer, look at what the comps are going for in that neighborhood. And then that's when you decide, okay, the highest one sold for this price. Do I really want to pay cash $30,000, $40,000 over just to get the house? Or do I need to bring my price point down just a little bit and find something within that range? So I hope this has helped you think a little bit as you are approaching the market as a buyer. And may each of you find that lovely house that you're looking for, whether it's all completely finished now or there are a few projects that you can finish down the road. So I just want to encourage you to be mindful. Yeah, this deja vu moment with the real estate is freaking me out. If this keeps up, I don't profess to be a financial analyst or economist or some type of, I don't profess to be that, but I know that in looking at history and the trends, I've seen this before. When it's starting to look a little bit like it did right before the real estate bubble bust. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep your eye on the market and be wise in your approach to the market. I still will say, and please hear me, that this still is a great time to buy. Maybe a little bit of competition out there, but hold on, be patient, don't give up, keep looking, and you'll find if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it. And so we got burned before, and a lot of folks took bailouts, but a lot of folks were left out. So I just want to encourage you guys to think before you leave. And history repeating itself, we just also have to look at everything. A lot of stuff is being shoved down our throats right now. Do this, do that. Do your research. A check never lies. Look at the trends. Look at the history. How was things handled in the past? And the approach to it, whatever it is. This lesson can be applied to so many things. Okay, this happened in the past. Are we doing anything different? Or is this the exact same thing? And are we using the exact same strategy or tactic to remedy this thing? If so, that's insanity. You're going to have the same results. In addition, I just, this may not be popular, but I'm going to address this. This is for the fam. I'm bringing order, and this is knocking on a block of wood so you don't be a block of wood. Calling order to the fam, I just want to remind you, I know there's a lot of shenanigans going on out there with incentives to, get and this is reminding me of back in Columbus Day when the Native brothers and sisters were given gifts to that some of those gifts were like Trojan horses. So I just want to be mindful. If somebody has to coax you and pay you and give you food and all this to get you to do something, you might want to pay attention. Do your research. That's starting to feel like deja vu to me as well. Being somebody that has Native American in me reminds me of the settlers giving gifts to our Native brothers and sisters. And how did that turn out for them? That's the question. I'm going to leave it there. Signing off. Peace and love. Bring it in order. Peace.